The J.D. Power Initial Quality Study is now in its 29th year in the U.S. market. And what it measures is the early experience that consumers are having with their vehicle. Any problems, it could be a design or a defect or malfunction problem that they're having on their vehicle. And why it's so important is that over half of our consumers tell us that expected reliability is one of the major reasons, one of the number one reasons for why they purchase that particular model or brand. So OEMs and suppliers pay particular attention to the results of this study in order to make any changes or corrections to next vehicles or to those vehicles so that consumers have a better overall ownership experience. So what we're seeing in the industry this year is some steady improvement at 3% year-over-year improvement. Last year we scored 116 problems per 100 at the industry level. This year it's down to 112 problems per 100, which is good steady year-over-year improvement. But despite that improvement rate, we are seeing some interesting shifts in the quality patterns this year. What we're seeing is that improvement on the domestics, on the European and Korean brands, has actually outpaced the improvement that we're seeing on the Japanese brands for the very first time. And for the first time in 29 years, the Japanese brand average was below industry average. And what we saw, it wasn't that the Japanese brand was not improving, it just was not improving at the same rate. The domestics, the Europeans all improved at 3%. The Korean brands have really taken off. They improved 11% year over year, whereas the Japanese brands are only improving about 1%. So there's movement in the industry and the patterns are shifting. Now while the industry did improve overall, the brand performance did vary. Porsche was the top ranked brand for the third consecutive year, and actually 7 out of the last 10 years they ranked #1. But the big industry story is Kia, which ranked #2 in the industry and #1 non-premium brand for really the first time ever, posting a 20% improvement. And the biggest area where they improved was in the infotainment area, the audio, communication, entertainment, and nav. Jaguar continued to do really well. We saw them doing well over the last few years. They ranked 3rd, and Hyundai continued to do well. Infiniti is the second most improved brand in the industry. They made a tremendous improvement this year, moving from 23rd ranked to 5th ranked this year, a 31 problem per 100 improvement versus last year. Also of note, Buick and Ford moved up to 11th and 12th rank from 19th and 16th rank, respectively, last year. So as we look at top problems in the industry, technology still tops the hit list. We still have audio and communication, entertainment, and nav, or ACEN, as the top problem area, top category area that consumers report issues in. And as we look at the top individual problems across the industry, built-in voice recognition and Bluetooth pairing are still the top problems that consumers are reporting. However, we do see some movement there as well. As we look at built-in voice recognition, problems are increasing in the industry when we look overall, but mainly we see an increase due to there's more consumers that are actually using that function or indicating that they have that function on their vehicle. We saw an increase of 10% from 2013 over consumers that actually reported they had that feature. Consumers really are expecting this technology. As we saw in some of our technology studies earlier in the year, this voice recognition is very important to consumers, but they expect it to work, and they expect it to work like their cell phones. So what we're seeing is while some are getting it right, though there's still many models that are experiencing more than 10 problems per 100 still. So still room for improvement in the industry.